Drawing the Iraq War, today on The World. I'm Marco Werman. Maximilian Uriarte is a graphic artist, and he felt compelled to get to Iraq.
I wanted to see something terrible. My first thought was, what's the quickest way I can get to Iraq and see this war zone for myself? To me, that was the Marine Corps infantry.
Also, as Hillary Clinton takes on Donald Trump, look for her touting some foreign policy know-how.
It's a way of stressing her experience. It's a way of suggesting the risks and dangers associated with the personality of Donald Trump, which polls consistently show is his biggest vulnerability.
Plus, the Codex Seraphinianus.
I would describe it as kind of like an encyclopedia from an alien planet.
Yep, we're all going to bite today on The World. I'm Marco Werman, and this is The World. Glad you could be here today. Bernie Sanders does not appear ready to throw in the towel, but after last night's primary wins in New Jersey and California, Hillary Clinton and her supporters are celebrating a historic milestone. First time in our nation's history that a woman is a major party's presumptive nominee for president. Clinton is calling on Democrats to unite, and that means Democrats wherever they might be in the world. So we're reaching out today to one Democrat who happens to be abroad right now. Ian Hyam is from Pennsylvania, but he's working on his PhD in Sweden. He's on the line from Örebro in Sweden. So we spoke with you after Super Tuesday back in March, so I know you're a Hillary fan. I guess you're pretty pleased right now, huh?
Yeah, I'm happy with the results. I think it was a really historic night last night, and yeah, I'm content.
What are your feelings about Bernie Sanders staying in the race to the convention?
Well, I like Bernie, but I think it's not the most honorable way to go about his campaign. I think it's showing somewhat poor leadership to not drop out and allow the party to kind of rally around Hillary, but, you know, it's his prerogative and it's his right to keep campaigning.
Do you have any friends who are Bernie supporters, either Americans or Swedes, who can't vote, and what are they saying?
Most Democrats living abroad seem to be Bernie supporters, although I would say that in my own circle, actually, a surprising amount are Hillary supporters. Swedes tend to be more to the left of Americans anyway. So I think that they were pretty enthusiastic about Bernie. But for the most part, I think that they're just glad to see a strong challenger to Donald Trump.
So let's talk about your Swedish friends and colleagues. And let's start with Donald Trump, since you just mentioned him. What do they make of Hillary's presumptive opponent?
Well, so I'm based in Stockholm most of the time, and the professors there at the Stockholm University seem almost to still think it's a joke. They can't quite get their head around the idea that Donald Trump really is the nominee. I get a lot of questions from people asking me all the time, how is this really happening? Isn't something going to happen at the convention? I think they're in kind of a state of disbelief. I also think it reflects some fears about the state of politics in Sweden, because the right-wing populist party here has been gaining a lot of ground in recent polling, and I think Swedes see this as a reflection of what could happen in their own country.
So they see Trump as a possible mirror of what the future might bring to Sweden.
Yeah, and to all of Europe, with the rise of populist parties in a lot of Western countries.
I mean, Sweden is also progressive when it comes to women's issues. The fact that there's this historic milestone with Hillary Clinton as a presumptive Democratic nominee, first time in the United States. What do Swedes make of that? Is it kind of a ho-hum moment, or do they see kind of the consequential side of this?
I think that, they're enthusiastic about having a female president. I question whether or not Swedes really get the full extent of the difference in women's equality or women's rights and feminism in the United States and in Sweden. I think that for them, it's not even a question that women should have equality and that things like extensive maternity leave should be guaranteed. So, I think that they're excited that there is a female candidate in the United States and that she could be elected and poses a strong challenge to Donald Trump. But I think maybe they take for granted how extensive equality is in Sweden and maybe don't consider the context in the U.S. as much.
Ian Hyam, a Democrat abroad in Sweden, in fact. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Now that Hillary Clinton is the presumptive Democratic nominee, we also wanted to review what she's been saying when it comes to foreign policy. We asked Susan Glasser about this. She's the editor at Politico.
Increasingly, as she turns to the general election, Hillary Clinton really is going to define and already has started to